Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, thanks in a large part to our pals at the VFS School of Game Design. Thank you so much, Vancouver Film School. Now, this rundown is dedicated to our buddy Phil Du, who has been asking for us to dedicate a rundown to him. We got a doozy for you today, Phil. There was a ton of news at Comic-Con over the weekend. As with previous years, the studio that probably made the most noise out of Comic-Con was Marvel. They announced loads of details about their upcoming movies and TV shows during several big panels, not to mention the fact that they had their customary huge booth on the convention floor. First up, they revealed that the upcoming Captain Marvel movie starring Brie Larson will take place in the early 1990s, which means it will be set before the main events of almost all the other Marvel films. The studio hasn't said how they'll account for the time difference when Brie Larson appears as the character in other upcoming movies, but anything is possible. They also revealed that Captain Marvel will feature a younger version of Nick Fury, with Samuel L. Jackson reprising the role. Marvel has used de-aging effects in several recent projects, and they've got plenty of reference material from Jackson's old movies, so hopefully their 90s version of him looks just as good and doesn't break our concentration.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
The most crowd-pleasing announcement about Captain Marvel is that the film will feature the iconic Marvel villains, the Skrulls, making their first appearance in the MCU. They're basically a shape-shifting race of cosmic evildoers, and fans have been waiting to see them on the big screen for years. Captain Marvel arrives in 2019. Next up from Marvel, Michael Keaton isn't the only Batman alum they've poached from DC. Batman Returns Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer, will play the original version of the heroic Wasp in the sequel to Ant-Man, titled Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Meow.
Her character is the wife of original Ant-Man Henry Pym, played by Michael Douglas, and the mother of the current Wasp, played by Evangeline Lilly. That film lands next year. The biggest Marvel movie coming next year is Avengers Infinity War. They also showed off several minutes of footage from the film to Comic-Con attendees, the same footage that was shown off at Disney's D23 convention, but much to the chagrin of everyone else, the footage isn't going to be released online. We'll have to wait until the fall to get a look at the first trailer for the movie. Marvel also brought the house down by showing off cool new footage from Black Panther, which also hasn't been released online. The only new movie trailer that Marvel has released, at least officially, is a new one for Thor Ragnarok. It gives us a new look at the characters and story, which will see Thor exiled on an alien planet where he's surprised to find his old ally, Hulk. Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo, as well as the stars of the other big Marvel movies, say that they love going to Comic-Con because of how it lets them interact with their biggest fans.
In this dark world we're living in today, to have that kind of joy just erupt like that is mighty welcome.
Oh, look, to meet the fans firsthand and you know, sign autographs and take pictures, I mean, that again is such a joy, and why this is, I think, one of my favorite, or not, my most favorite part of doing press. It's got to be Comic-Con.
This is so much better than a press day.
The smaller screen offerings of the Marvel Cinematic Universe had a presence at Comic-Con as well. New footage from the Marvel and Netflix superhero crossover series, The Defenders, was unveiled. In fact, they screened the entire first episode, but the rest of us will have to wait until it premieres next month. Marvel and Netflix also showed off the first footage from their Punisher solo series featuring Jon Bernthal as the iconic anti-hero, and they announced that they've renewed Iron Fist for a second season. The first season received a lukewarm reception, so hopefully it will pack a bigger punch the second time around. And giving Marvel a run for their money at Comic-Con was their old rival, DC. Like Marvel, they announced plenty of news about their upcoming movies and TV shows at the con. For starters, they showed off new footage from this year's big superhero crossover movie, Justice League. The new trailer makes the film look much more action-packed, comedic, and colorful than previous DC movies like Batman vs. Superman, which indicates that the DC universe is finally on the right track following the success of Wonder Woman. We'll know for sure when Justice League arrives this November. DC also confirmed that Wonder Woman is getting her own sequel, with director Patty Jenkins back at the helm, and that's just one of 9 movies that are part of their upcoming slate. The studio confirmed that their other upcoming films will be Aquaman, Shazam, Suicide Squad 2, the solo Batman movie simply titled The Batman, Justice League Dark, Joss Whedon's Batgirl, Green Lantern Corps, and the Flash movie, which we now know will borrow the story from the 2011 comic series Flashpoint. This is probably the most interesting bit of news from DC because it has big implications for their cinematic universe as a whole. The Flashpoint comic basically reset the entire DC universe, kicking off the New 52, so a Flashpoint movie could have similar implications on the big screen. The Flashpoint story was already adapted for the recent third season of the Flash TV series, so it will be interesting to see how the movie runs with it. Speaking of DC TV shows, new footage from the next seasons of The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow was shown off at the event, and you'll be able to catch all of those when they premiere this September. Netflix continued their quest for global domination at the San Diego Comic-Con. The streaming giant had a bigger presence at the event this year than ever before, further establishing themselves as a worthy adversary to the biggest film and television studios. Apart from all the new Marvel shows that they're working on, Netflix had a huge panel for the second season of their hit series Stranger Things. They showed off a new trailer featuring Michael Jackson's iconic song Thriller, and you know that if they're spending the money to use a song like that, they see the show as a major entertainment franchise. The panel for the show even rivaled the ones for DC and Marvel, with thousands of fans eager to meet the cast.
It's a sea of people. It's really huge, and I think people were really happy to have us there and talk to us. And then when we showed the trailer, I think that was really exciting, just for them to see some new footage and to see what season 2 is going to be all about. So yeah, it was fun.
Stranger Things wasn't just confined at the San Diego Convention Center. Netflix also opened up the Stranger Things experience in downtown San Diego, just outside the convention center, giving everyone the chance to see sets and props from the show. There are actually a lot of these kinds of public exhibits around Comic-Con, with the event so big that it spills out into the streets and takes up the entirety of downtown San Diego. Stranger Things Season 2 arrives October 27th. And if Stranger Things isn't enough 80s nostalgia for you, Steven Spielberg has got you covered. The legendary filmmaker took the stage at Comic-Con to unveil the latest trailer for his new movie, Ready Player One, based on the best-selling novel of the same name. It looks exactly like how you'd imagine the book, set in a bleak future where people escape into a virtual reality game world called the Oasis, which is filled with nerd culture imagery and characters from classic 80s films. It seems appropriate that Spielberg would direct the movie, given that he had a big hand in making many of those classic films, most notably Back to the Future, which he produced. Ready Player One will take audiences into a world of pure imagination when it hits theaters on March 30th, 2018. It wasn't all just big movies at Comic-Con. Several big TV shows also got their time in the spotlight. HBO showed off the first trailer for the second season of their hit show, Westworld, which looks just as epic and bloody as the first season. That arrives next year. If blood is what you're after, AMC unveiled the 8th season of The Walking Dead, filled with zombies, guns, death, the usual. It premieres October 22nd. CBS held a panel for their new series, Star Trek Discovery, where they announced several new details about the show. Turns out that the main character, played by Sonequa Martin Green, is actually the half-sister of classic Trek character Spock, being the daughter of his human mother. It's unclear why Spock never mentioned her before, but the creators promise that the show exists within the established Trek canon, so they have a good excuse. We'll just have to wait until the show premieres in September to find out. That's our rundown for today. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more about game design, visit vfs.edu. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new rundown for you. So in the meantime, click around and watch some of the other content we've made for you. And if you like it, hit subscribe, all right?